in the spirit of enhancing a customer's experience, what are some of the key components you would submit are crucial to, I guess, the day-to-day activities of a BDC?
Yeah, sure. So I think putting yourself in the consumer's seat, right? So how do you like to be taken care of? If you submit an email to a business or an organization, how quickly would you like your response to come back? How knowledgeable would you like that person to be on the other end of the phone? How convenient are they making this transaction for you? And these are some of the key components where BDC can really help make that difference.
Yeah, you talk about how the BDC essentially is a conduit to the showroom floor. What does that look like? I'm thinking about the day-to-day operations of a dealership. How does a BDC, and especially with all of the silos, right? Sales rarely knows what marketing's doing. Marketing kind of has an overall agenda, but maybe F&I and parts and service, they have no clue about any of this stuff. How can the BDC be, I guess, the linchpin or the sun by which the solar system revolves?
Yeah. So often, in a dealership, it's difficult to kind of create those synergies, right? And instead of looking as your BDC as a separate center or a separate department, make sure that they have the right product knowledge and understand some of the ancillary positions of a sales rep, right? So for example, you know your product very well. You know what inventory you have in stock, right? You can guide the customer through potentially the difference between one model versus the next. You have some industry intel. So this way, they can almost give the customer the very basics of what they need to help complete their shopping. Create a relationship with sales rep and BDC that is a hand in glove type relationship. There's no competition here, right? The BDC should be happy to hand off their customers to a sales rep, and a sales rep feel confident that this customer is ready and prepped and armed for what they need to make that purchasing decision.
I love that. Anytime we bring up anything to do with culture and a healthy workplace culture, I just perk up. I think, especially on the DPB, for those listening, it's important that you understand in 7+ years now of producing the show, over 75% of all guests on the show speak to the importance of a healthy culture. We can't ignore this. How do you, in your experience, from your observations, how do you create this hand in glove, as you say, experience in something that has traditionally been viewed as a Shark Tank? How do we really create that relationship?
Yeah, so it's get them involved and don't exclude them. So you're having your sales meeting, you're having that Monday morning jump start, you're having that Saturday morning meeting before the big weekend sale. Get your BDC in that meeting with you so that they understand what's happening at your showroom. They feel an integral member and part of your organization, and create those synergies. That knowledge is power, and making them feel involved makes reps a lot more passionate about what they're doing and why they're doing it.
This idea, back, I think one of my first jobs as in the workforce was at Best Buy. Now, in Canada, it used to be called Future Shop, and it was very Shark Tanky. However, every single morning, I remember we had a meeting where they would walk through everything that was going on. And those of us who were paying attention excelled. This was commission sales. So back in the day, it was all commission sales. It wasn't, no pressure, this and that. It was like, you are buying a TV today, pal.
Hardcore, yeah.
Yeah. But you also made really good money. I remember I was a 17-year-old. I was the youngest commission salesperson in Canada. They traditionally didn't hire 17-year-olds to do commission sales. But I was like, sorry, pal, I am not slinging CDs. I don't work in the music. Like, I'm making money. But those of us that paid attention in those meetings, understanding that they were there to make sure everyone was in the loop, we excelled. Those that were like, man, whatever, they just sat there in the corner waiting for customers to come to them. They had no clue what was going on and how we were able to stack deals and how we were able to stack products and incentives and all of those sorts of things. And I see this as very much the case, in dealership world where there's just such a lack of communication. Do you, outside of that morning meeting, are there any other communication methods that you've found work really well in just keeping the team connected?
Yeah, so that's the relationship between, the BDC and your showroom floor, right? Your sales reps. Now, in my old organization, what we had a few reps that were dedicated to either the internet sales, and I'm putting up quotation marks here, right? Internet sales and that type of thing. And that was those sales reps that really kind of understood the difference between this type of customer versus, the person who walks right in through your showroom door. They understand that customer has potentially already been online and shopping you against many others, right? Kind of arming themselves with information, have a ton of questions that some may throw you a curveball. So we had dedicated reps that were ready to receive a message from the BDC that the customer was coming in, or that they had someone on the phone that was ready to take the sale a little bit further, and they worked really well in concert with that particular BDC rep, helping smooth that transaction for the customer, which seemed almost seamless, as if they were talking to the same person all along.
And so are they actually going through some sort of a handoff? And what I mean by that is, I think most consumers, when somebody picks up the phone, they automatically just assume they're talking to a sales rep, right?
Yeah.
So is this actually saying like, hey, my name's Michael and I work in our, concierge department to make sure that you have all the info? Like, how does that look? Are they making it known that they're in a different department than sales?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I used to go as far as having my BDC reps greet their inbound customers on the showroom floor and make that intro to the sales rep. That used to go over so incredibly well, because sometimes customers shop online for so long that they've created a relationship with my BDC rep, right? They've become someone that they kind of trust and look to for information. So having that personal handoff when it's possible, right, allows that person to feel like they're entrusting me in Michael's hands. I must be in good hands. And you've already transferred a lot of that information that you've gotten from your customer to the sales rep. So therefore, the customer doesn't feel like they're starting from ground zero all over again with the transaction.
I love that. In this age of digital retail, the impending doom of closing dealerships all over the world in lieu of the Vroom model or the Carvana. What can dealerships, in your opinion, be doing today to fortify perhaps against something like that and or get with the program?
Yeah. Well, thank goodness that cars are still sexy enough that people do still want to see them in person,
right, or
potentially give them a little bit of a test drive. But you're right. There is this one component that we cannot avoid, right? And that is, and COVID kind of really opened the doors to this, right? Where we were kind of forced to go the digital route, where leaning on, data and analytics and creating platforms or being flexible with our model to allow customers to feel safe and have options when it comes to their buying needs by opening up digital retailing. So I can tell you that 80% of dealers currently have adapted to some kind of creative delivery method out of the pandemic. And that's not going to go away, right? So of people that we've actually surveyed as well, about 65% of people said that they purchased their vehicles completely online, digital retailing and all, and they'd like to do so again. So even though we may go back to a sense of normalcy very soon, this new digital retailing age may be something that will stick around for some time. Carvana and those folks are creating a convenience. And that's what customers are looking for, something that meets their needs. I can come in store and shop if I like. I can have the car delivered to me and while I shop online if I like. So being flexible is really going to allow you to stay ahead of the game and make sure that you're delivering, again, going back to those experiences that your consumer is looking for.
I'm Michael Cirillo, and you've been listening to the Dealer Playbook Podcast. If you haven't yet, please click the subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. Leave a rating or review and share it with a colleague. If you're ready to make big changes in your life and career and want to connect with positive, nurturing automotive professionals, join my exclusive DPB Pro community on Facebook. That's where we share information, ideas, and content that isn't shared anywhere else. I can't wait to meet you there. Thanks for listening.